a little overboard with my look today. I do look a little a little vibrant. I kind of was going for a Christmassy vibe, but I think I went, yeah, I look like a Christmas tree. I look like a candy cane. I definitely feel like you can't really miss me, but I'm also loving it. I'm loving it. Why not? If we cannot be wild and free and do what we want with our makeup, what is the point? What is the point of it? So yeah, this is the vibe today. Today I'm going to go through my beauty wrap up for the month. It's been a quieter month for me. I haven't actually bought any new makeup this month, but I will be going through any new eyeshadow pans that I've hit, any of my favorites this month, because I do have a few favorites that I wanted to talk about, and also any empties that I have. And then of course I do want to talk about any movies, TV shows, or anything else that I've been browsing this month. Let's start with the eyeshadow pans, because I feel like that's always the most exciting part. Some of these are going to be spoilers, some of them are not, because I've already spoken about them. So I hit pan in the Avatar palette. This is the Air palette from Lethal Cosmetics. They came out with 4 of them, and this is a shade that I had in my pan those eyeshadows, and I used it for 20 uses, did not hit pan, rolled it out, and then I decided to carry on using it because I knew I was very, very close to hitting pan, and I was, so this is where we are, and I've already mentioned this and spoken about this in my channel. Really easy shade for me to use, so it's kind of a gimme shade, but still I will take it. Okay, next up, this is a spoiler, so I did also hit pan in this. This is the Menagerie Killer Purr, and I have one of these shades in my pan nose eyeshadows, and the shade is right here, and I have hit pan in that. So next week when I do my pan nose eyeshadows update, I will talk through obviously the total uses, but yeah, I have another fancy little pan to share, and my first pan in a Menagerie. Honestly, it wasn't so bad. I have heard that it's very hard to hit pan, but I did find the shade quite powdery, and whenever there's a lot of kick up or like a lot of like powder flying around, I feel like it's not so bad, and I feel like you can definitely hit pan. Also, it's a shade that I could use in multiple different looks. Really like the grungy khaki side of it. So yeah, this one was quite a joy actually to try to hit pan on. Then I have 2 pans to share in my Project Level Up palette. This is the What's Your Power from GlossGods. One of them I've already shared. The other one I just hit pan in it today, and I'm so excited. It's the green that I have on my lids. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because this has been a struggle. This has been a struggle. If you know, you know this has been a struggle. So the one I've already told you about was this one. I hit pan in it earlier this month, and I did update in my last video. But this is the green that I put on my lids today, and I have hit pan. So the only way I was able to hit pan is because I did do it on my lower lash too. I don't usually do lower lash eyeshadow, but I did today. So when I did it on the lids, I didn't hit pan. I was like, damn it, shoot. So I grabbed a brush, used the brush, like a thin little brush, and that was the reason why I was able to hit pan. So I'm very excited. I have 2 more pans that I need to hit, and I'm working on these 2. I actually have this one on my lids as well. It looks like a pink there, but it looks very red. That's why I'm gone for that red look. I just went for it today, okay? I went for it. I didn't stay away from it. Sometimes, you know, you gotta run towards the fire. And I ran towards it, and this is me. I feel like I should be on a stage show with bright lights in my face, because I think that's the only time that this amount of blush and red really works, but it's fine. So yeah, I have 2 more pans to hit. I want to hit that one and that one. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can do that in the next month. And then I can officially roll this one out, but very excited about this. Okay, so I do have one makeup item that I didn't speak about in my October wrap up. That was a new item that I had purchased. So I'm just gonna talk about it today. It is this. So this is an illuminating powder. It's like a color correcting illuminating powder. It is from the brand Miss Den, which is like a drugstore brand here in Portugal. I believe it's a French drugstore brand. It's Miss Den Paris. So I think it is originally from France, although it says made in Italy, but yeah, I think this is a French company, but it's all over the supermarket here. So I've been trying. They got skincare, hair care, nail care, makeup. They got everything. So I've been trying all sorts of stuff from them, and I decided to pick this up. This, I will say, is ultra powdery. So I go in with a big fluffy brush, and it's okay. As a powder, it's absolutely fine. I use it as a finishing powder. But honestly, I go into it and it's like a drug den. Like there's powder everywhere. It is so kick-uppy and crazy and just like loose in a way. So just beware if you are gonna try this brand, it's gonna go everywhere. They're very, very inexpensive and affordable. So I like trying obviously new items, and I forgot to mention this, but I do have it in my Shop My Stash right now. So I've been going into it quite a bit in the last few weeks, and I've noticed it just flies everywhere. Okay, I do have one makeup item today. It is my W7 It's Prime Primer. So last month I had finished my Charlotte Tilbury foundation, and now this month I finished this one, and I was using them alongside each other in my project pan. So very pleased that I was able to finish this. I can't really get anything else out. Nothing else is coming out of the pump, and I don't want to cut it open and try to scrape whatever little I have left. So I'm calling this officially an empty. I've actually really enjoyed it. It was quite tinted in a way, but it did end up blending very nicely into the skin, and it did definitely give an overall glow, and it wasn't to the point where it was like a Tin Man glow. So I have had illuminating primers before where you end up looking like Tin Man. This one didn't do it so much, but it is very, very glowy, but in a nice way. And also under foundation, I think it worked really nicely, and I still felt like I saw that glow under the foundation, but also it wasn't as like in your face, if that makes sense. So very inexpensive product as well. So if you can find it, I don't even know if you can get this anymore, but I actually really enjoyed it. I don't know what it is, my ears are so blocked. I don't think I have a cold. I don't think I have a head cold or anything. My ears are like, I can barely hear anything. Okay, let's talk about my new favorites for the month. I have spoken about these previous videos, but I wanted to talk about them in this video because I really enjoyed them this month. So the first one is the Singe Beauty blush. This is the Riveting Rhubarb. I have two of them. I've been really enjoying this shade. I think it's a lot of fun. I almost went into it today, but I did go into my PLouise today because it's a little bit more vibrant. And as again, I was just like going into this look. I just was like, let's do it. Let's be a candy cane. Who cares? So, but anyway, this is really beautiful. I have already said and mentioned what I like about this in another video, but if you haven't seen that, basically this has a beautiful sheen to it. It's not shimmery and it's not like a highlight blush at all, but it does give an overall beautiful sheen and a very effortless sort of color as well. And very pigmented, but just in a nice, lovely, pleasant way. So I actually really like the formula. I think she did an amazing job, and I'm happy with the two shades that I have, but this one I think is my favorite out of the two so far. Then I also have been really enjoying my Whatsup Beauty Serengeti highlighter. This is the Wild Acacia shade. I have this on today. I put it all over my face, so very shiny. But yeah, this is more of the icy pink. It's much better for winter. I have another one that I thought was really good for the summer. And I really like these. I really, really have been enjoying them. Not only have I enjoyed it on my face, but also as an inner corner highlight. And I think it's a really good product, and they kindly sent them to me. So very, very pleased that I'm really, really enjoying them, because highlighters can be hit and miss. They can be a little bit too shiny sometimes, but I think this is like a really good balance where they're really like impactful, but they also seem to me to be quite subtle and like just pretty. It doesn't look like I've overdone it in a way. At least, well, not with the highlight. With everything else maybe, but not the highlight. Okay, and then I've also really enjoyed this palette. This is from Glaminatrix. It's the Rich Romantic, and I wanted to talk about it as a favorite of mine for this month. I've only done 2 looks with it, but I really have a good feeling about this palette. I think it's really romantic, as in the name, and I think it's really beautiful. It kind of reminds me of the ABH Norvina in terms of being able to go into it and do any look that I really want to do, like an everyday look or a more like of a date night look. I think it's very feminine. I think it's very pretty, and you could just do a really boring neutral look if you wanted. The formula is really, really stunning, and you have a couple of duochromes that I've noticed so far in here. So I'm really excited to go into it a little bit more. And I just wanted to talk about it because I've been wanting to try Glaminatrix for ages, and I finally picked up a palette of theirs, and it wasn't the one that I necessarily wanted, but I'm so glad that I got this because I think it's really lovely, and I think it adds something to my collection. So yeah, I really like this. Okay, so this month I'm not going to go through my stats because what I'm going to do next month is do a year-on-year comparison. I'm going to try to do a year-on-year comparison because I have tracked my overall like panning stats and how many eyeshadows I've gone into for the year and whatnot over the last few years. So I thought it would be fun to do sometime in December, just track it, compare it to 2023. So I'll do like an overview of the year so far, and then like obviously the comparisons. So stay tuned for that one. That will probably be its own separate video because I imagine I'll have quite a bit to talk through. But for that purpose, I'm not going to talk about any stats in this video, simply because obviously I want to keep you intrigued. Also, I just don't know if it's going to be all that interesting because, yeah, I mean, we all know what the palette I've used the most this year is if you've watched my previous videos and like me talking about stats. But anyway, we will discuss that in a video next month. All right, let's get into any music I've listened to or movies and TV shows. We'll start with music because I really don't have too much of an update on music. So I have been trying to discover some new music this month, but I also admittedly have not been listening to that much music because I've been listening to a lot more audiobooks. So while I work, most of the time I would listen to music, but this month I've actually just been listening to books. So I do have a couple of shout outs. So I did find Jackson Dean, and I think his song Wings is absolutely amazing. If you have not heard it, I would definitely go recommend listening to it. It is so stunning, so beautiful. I think his voice sounds so gorgeous in it. And I do like these melancholy sort of music types, but he is more of a country singer, and I've heard some of his other songs and they're a lot more upbeat, but I think this one is beautiful. So I would definitely recommend that one. I've also listened to quite a lot of Birdie. So Birdie is a singer that I listened to back in the day. She's been around for a while and I've loved her previous albums. She has a newer album, so I've been listening to that. Not generally my vibe, but I've been listening to all of her older music too. So that is another one that I've been listening to quite a lot this month. All right, so let's talk about some movies that I've watched this month. I have actually watched a few, rewatched a few movies, but I haven't tracked them on Letterboxd, but I did track this one. This one is The Departed. So back in the day, obviously this came out in the early 2000s or mid 2000s. And I remember it coming out and watching it and being like, it was okay. I mean, it was fine, but I rewatched it and I thought it was really good. I don't know what changed in me. I gave it a 5-star. I think it was really nice to see Leonardo DiCaprio looking young again. Like back in the day, he was quite sweet looking, and also I really like Matt Damon, and he plays a really good like baddie or like morally grey character. I think he does that really well, and I just think the dynamic of the duo, even though they're really only on screen together for a few minutes, like the whole movie is like different scenes of them separated. I actually really like the movie watching it again as I'm slightly older. And also like the sensitivity in Leonardo DiCaprio's character and the vulnerability in him. It's quite heartbreaking at times. I thought it was done really well, so I enjoyed this. And then I watched I Care a Lot. So this is with Rosamund Pike, and I actually think she's an okay actress. I like her in some things. This was a weird movie. It was a little bit like a dark comedy, but it not really a comedy, but it definitely wasn't hugely serious. It's about this woman who basically rips off old people. She scams them into going into an old people's home and basically takes over all of their assets and sells it off and pockets the cash. It's pretty awful, and I can see this happening in real life. It probably does. And it sounds horrible. So she's a very morally great character, but she basically messes with the wrong family and things get a little bit out of control. But this one I gave a 2.5. It was fine to watch. It's not something I would watch again, but it was what it is. We also watched Deadpool and Wolverine. So this came out on Disney. I haven't gone to the cinema in so long. So most things I watch is like on streaming services. So this finally came to Disney this month, and we hadn't had a Disney subscription for like a year, but I finally got it again because I was like, well, we're missing out on stuff, on shows and everything. So I got it, watched Deadpool and Wolverine, and it was just disappointing. I gave it a 2-star. Generally, I've always enjoyed Marvel movies to some extent. They've been really good back in the day, and we have watched, I think, all of them at this point, as well as all the X-Men. We are fans of all of those series. However, I will say I've never thought that Deadpool was a character for me. I didn't really care for the other movies, but I thought they were way better than this one. I gave this a 2-star. Like I said, it was just not very good. It was kind of just trying to rely on all the nostalgia of the X-Men series, which maybe that worked for some people, but I just don't think it worked for me. And it was far too meta. I know that Deadpool breaks the fourth wall all the time. He does that in other movies, and it is part of his character, and he is a comedian and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know, I'm getting a little bit bored of Ryan Reynolds. I think he's a one-trick pony at this point. And I don't think that this movie was very good ultimately. I thought it would at least be entertaining, and I didn't find it very entertaining. I was actually quite bored, and I didn't like the evil character in this movie too, and all of the time jumping, which Marvel has been doing for years now. And even in Deadpool, it does like a meta comment where, like, you know, this is being overdone constantly, but the movie does use, you know, the parallel universes and all of that as its central sort of storyline and how it makes it work. So even though it criticized that, it still used it. And so I feel like it kind of backfired in a way. It wasn't original, and I thought it would be more original, the movie. I thought he would be a little bit, I don't know. I just thought it would be something else, and it disappointed me. And then I watched The Merry Gentleman. I watched this on my own. I just put it on. I thought it was going to be like a little sweet little Christmas movie. I ended up turning it off after half an hour or something. Maybe after an hour, because it's basically about this girl who is a showgirl, a dancer in New York, and she loses her job because she's old now. She's like 30, and she's lost her job to somebody new. She goes to her hometown, and her parents own this little bar with a stage. So they play a lot of live music, and they've been, you know, struggling with paying rent and all that. So she decides to put up a male strip show, and it's got Michael Chad Murray in it, and I don't know, it wasn't for me. It was so badly acted. The script was terrible, and it wasn't the cozy, silly little Christmas movie that I was hoping for. I think it was worse than those. You know, those like the Lindsay Lohan movies that are coming out, and all of the like Hallmark movies where it's just so corny and stupid, but also gives you that stupid Christmas feeling. This one didn't have that at all. I thought it was really badly done. So I gave it a 1 star, and I didn't actually finish it. Those are all the movies that I tracked watching in November. I probably watched more, but I can't recall what I did watch. But what we have been doing is watching a couple of TV shows that I wanted to talk about. So the first one is From, which I have not watched the last episode yet. We are on season 3, and I'm waiting for the last episode before the season is done. This is such a fun show. If you have not watched it and you are able to watch it or get access to it, I would recommend it. We watch it on HBO Max. Is it HBO Max? I think it's HBO Max. And it's a lot of fun. So it's the same sort of, I think, executive producer as the ones who created Lost, and you can kind of see why, because obviously with that show you're always questioning what is going on. Are they dead? Are they in a parallel universe? Is it all like a dream? You know, during the process of Lost, when it first came out several years ago now, there was a lot of like questions and discourse, and it was very popular at first because people were like, what is going on? And the show is doing the same thing. Like literally every time I open up my Facebook app, I see a little comment or a little thread about this show. I don't get it for anything else but this show. And I read all the comments. I find them so comical because it's all these people who are like, I can't stand this show, but I keep watching it because I want to know what's going on. And I feel the same way. Although I generally like the show. My partner doesn't really like it, but we watch it together. It's generally been a lot of fun. So I can't really give away spoilers because I don't really know what's going on. So it's about these people who get stuck in a town. They can't leave. And at night, these monsters come out and kill them. You know, so it's gruesome. It's a horror show. It kind of reminds me though of the The Walking Dead in a way, because yes, there's these monsters that come out at night, and as The Walking Dead, obviously they're trying to escape the zombies all the time, but the show centers around more about the characters and the dramas between the characters. Obviously there are the monsters and stuff and some other weird stuff going on, and more as we go, more weird stuff happens, and like I can't, if I told you like the things that are happening in the show, you would be like, that sounds like the stupidest thing in the world. And it is, like on paper, it's really stupid. And also when you watch it, it's kind of stupid, but it's also entertaining. It's a really entertaining show. So if you don't mind like a little bit of gore in your shows, I think it's a lot of fun. So we've been watching that. We also just finished The Penguin with Colin Farrell, just finished that last night. Oh my goodness, the last episode, like the last 10 minutes, oh my gosh, I was kind of like, what? No. If you know, you know, but I thought this was really well done, really well filmed, well edited, just like the whole show is really, really good. And I am so impressed with the prosthetics that they had on Colin Farrell, because obviously he looks nothing like himself. And also when you're watching it, it really does look like that is him. It doesn't look like Colin Farrell, but it looks like the Penguin. It looks like a person that looks like that. It doesn't, like, there's only a few instances where you can kind of tell it's prosthetic, but otherwise I really feel like it's really well done. And I genuinely really liked the show. And so yeah, I would recommend that too. That's also on HBO Max, I believe. We have a lot of streaming shows. That's the only way we can watch stuff. Very expensive though, it's annoying. But anyway, that is everything that I wanted to talk about today. It's kind of, I feel like it's been a decent month, and I am excited for Christmas. I'm slowly getting there. Obviously with this look, I'm trying to get a little bit more into the Christmas spirit. It's not quite there yet. Normally at this point I would be like really like my Christmas fever would be super high, and it's not. But I'm doing a lot of shopping, and yeah, hopefully it gets there. I hope everyone's doing well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.